What is up, guys? Team Yugi Fields here with another video, and you guys know what time it is. It is time for a very special deck profile.
Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up, the worst show on television.
That's right, we got some Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc action going on up here, the good old Bird Up. Time to take a look and see how this deck runs, functions, the ratios that we're playing, you know, etc., etc. You guys know the drill. So, before we hop into the deck profile, if you guys aren't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, make sure you like the video, comment down below, tell me all of your thoughts and opinions, things that you want to see in the future, and I can obviously do my best to deliver on that. Obviously, I do, you know, a significant amount of deck profiles. I don't do a large amount of, like, combo videos, but a lot of people ask me to. But let's go ahead and hop over to the deck profile and check out some good old Bird Up action. Alrighty, so here we are with the main deck. Let's go ahead and hop right into this for the Tri-Brigade ratios. We play triple Fractal and triple Nerval. I think these are the only ones that you have to play 3 of, so all the other ones you don't have to play 3 of, it's just not necessary. But these are your major cards that you want to, you know, see at some point, so keep in mind, definitely want to utilize those. Then we have 2 Cuirass and 2 Kit. I think you can just play two of each of these. For some reason, I saw someone playing 2 Fractal and 3 Cuirass, which is just terrible. You don't want to do that. So I like this ratio a lot. Definitely works very, very well. Then for the Lyrilusc stuff, it's a pretty small engine, to be honest. I'm doing 3 of the Warbler, 1 Sparrow, and 1 Swallow. I don't think you need multiples of either of these. My first list that I was playing 2 of this. Looking at it now, 1 is really all that you have to play. There's no reason to play multiples. Like, you just want to see this and get, you know, these onto the field with it. So nothing crazy there. Then I play 1 Kinkaboyu. You can probably guess what I'm playing in the Spell and Trap lineup. It's just a little small engine in case you need something else to extend with, but we'll get into that. Then of course we play the Windbearer statue and we play an Apex Avion. These are just good cards overall. You want to be playing these in this deck, and seeing the new ban list is out, you know, we do get the eligibility to have those cards still because they didn't get hit, which is awesome. Moving on to the hand traps, though, we have 3 Nib, then we have 3 Ash, and then we have 2 DD Crow. So the Ash and the Nib are obviously really good this format. They're good every format, as we know, but the Nib this format is fantastic because VFD is gone and Zexal is gone. So problem cards like that, we don't even have to worry about anymore. Well, granted, the Zexal didn't make a difference, but you guys get what I mean. So Nibiru is really, really good this format. DD Crow is still also really good, and you could search it off of the Lyrilusc Xyz monster in case you already have the things in hand that you need. So keep in mind that this card is actually fantastic in this deck. You could almost just play 1 of it if you wanted to, and just like search it. But I do like to play 2 because it is a really good card for graveyard decks. Moving on to the spells, though, we have triple Tenki, and then we have triple Talents. I think that the Tenki is obviously a necessity. The Talents is an added card. You can it's the one card in the deck that you can swap out for other things that you want to play. But I think that this card is just fantastic because people are going to try and hand trap you, and if they do, then you get to either take cards from their hand or draw a couple cards. And this also outs Dragoon, which is very important. So keep in mind that's a multi-purpose card there. And we have 3 Cosmic Cyclone because we don't want to deal with back row. Granted, this deck can play through it, but I think there's going to be a lot of Eldritch decks running around this format, so just be wary that your back row is going to want to have an out, and Cyclone does that for you. If you want to play Twisters, but that's totally up to you guys. Then we have a bunch of 1-ofs for the spell cards here. We have 1 Rendezvous. This is just a card that everyone's playing 1 of. Basically guard your barrier statue, but nothing crazy to talk about there. Then we have 1 Jack in the Hand. I don't think you need more than 1 of this. I mean, if you want to play more than 1, go for it, but I'm only playing the 1 Kinkaboyu, so this is just kind of an added extra. It's just another extender in case you need one. nothing really to add to with that, though. It's pretty straightforward. Then we have one for one and one foolish for a couple more extenders and you know, digging, searching cards in a way. So these cards are phenomenal in this deck. I really enjoy playing them. And then the last card in the deck, in the main deck, we have Called by the Grave. This card's really good too. I think that playing this with talents is fantastic. It just gives you the ability to have multiple cards that allow you to go first a little bit better, which obviously this deck really wants to do. But even if you go second, this deck can also OTK and break boards pretty easily. So keep in mind, there are a lot of options of things you can do. That is the main deck, though. Should be 40 cards. We're going to hop on over to the extra deck and start with the Tri-Brigade Link monsters. So we have 2 Farragut, 1 Rugal, and then we have 2 Shurag or Shurag, however you guys pronounce it. It's totally up to you. For whatever reason, they made an archetype that I can't pronounce that well, which doesn't happen very often. If you guys watch the channel, typically there's only a few cards where I can't pronounce them, and I'll admit that I can't pronounce them. This happens to fall under, you know, one of those archetypes that has a few cards where you just can't read them. But I think that this is a really good ratio. 5 overall is really good. I think that the new Link 2, when it comes out, I might try and squeeze that in here, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But I think that these overall are very important. And for the other Link monsters, we have a Link Karibo, which is fantastic. This card comes up a lot. We have the Ancient Warrior Link, which I think is also a fantastic card. I wasn't playing it before, ironically enough, and I kind of changed my mind because it is it's just a good card. There's not really much to say other than it's a good card. So I think those are pretty important. Then we have the Harpy Conductor, and this is another card that I can't pronounce the first part of it, but it's the Desperate Doom Eagle. I don't even ask me to pronounce the first part of the name because I can't even try. But usually I'm pretty good, like I said, but this deck has a lot of cards that I can't pronounce. But this card's fantastic for a lot of graveyard decks, which is really good. I like being able to establish a board that has this card on it because it's so good in those kind of scenarios. So keep in mind, definitely worth playing. And the Conductor helps you in certain situations go into the Simorgh Link, which is also ridiculously important in this deck. It helps you turbo out either your Apex Avian or your Barrier Statue, or both, depending on how the game goes for you. There are going to be times where you can actually get both, which is fantastic. Then some Link 4s, we have an Appaloosa and a Boral Sword. Nothing to go in depth with here. This is pretty standard, to be perfectly honest. The Appaloosa comes up in almost every single one of your plays, which is fantastic. The only thing that I think you're gonna have to watch out for this format is Ghost Ogre, because Dragon Link is, in my opinion, keep in mind this is my opinion, I think Dragon Link is probably the best deck this format. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's still going to be Virtual World because of the hand loop. Well, Virtual World is going to lose to Nibiru significantly more easily than it did before, and Dragon Link does not lose to Nibiru that easily, because all they do is they set up their Heretic Seal, or their spheres, whatever you want to call it, before you Nibiru them, before they hit 5 summons. And then when you do nib them, they get to summon like a Rocket Tracer from deck. They pop the nib token, and then they still have a Savage Dragon at the minimum. And if they have any other extenders, then they really keep playing. So I think that, you know, I think that Dragon Link is just going to be ridiculous. So, you know, keep in mind that's something to have in the back of your brain that you're thinking about. Dragon Link is probably going to be the best deck. So I think that, you know, having Appaloosa is going to be good until people start, you know, playing Ghost Ogre for Dragon Link, because LP and Pisty. So overall, though, you know, Appaloosa is a really good card, even though it can get hit by Ogre and then it doesn't resolve. Then the Xyz monsters that we have 1 Starling and 1 Nightingale. Just one of each of these is perfectly fine. You really don't need any more than one of each. It just serves the purpose by having one of each. So you go into them somewhat, and sometimes you don't. It all depends on your hand, but that's obviously something that you'll figure out over time. This deck just has a million different lines of play that you can go through, which is awesome. And the last card that we play is 1 Zeus. It's there because of the Nightingale. Nothing crazy or odd that I have to explain here. You basically swing at your opponent, and then, you know, you get to summon a Zeus and clear the field, which is pretty sweet. Then moving on to the side deck now, because that was the extra deck, we will take a look and see all the lovely text that I have in here. as I always say in every single one of my deck profiles, keep in mind that this is based around what I think the meta is going to be at my locals. You guys have to change it up accordingly for, you know, your local area. Obviously, that's something that you're going to have to do, but also do keep in mind that it is a new format, so all of this could very well change quickly. This is just what I'm running with at the moment. So for some more hand traps, we have 3 Lancia and 3 Droll. I still think that these are probably the most important hand traps to be side decking. I don't think that, you know, you're going to see a big shift as far as the way the meta looks. I think the amount of like virtual world decks you'll see will drop, and the amount of Drytron decks you'll see will drop. But overall, I think the meta is going to be partially similar. Not completely, partially similar. It's just that you're going to see the numbers on what decks are being played kind of shift a little bit. So keep that in mind, that these cards are still fantastic per the pending meta game that we have coming up. Then for the last monster in the side deck, we do have a Pankratops. Pankratops is just something that, if you've been watching my channel long enough, you have seen plenty of Pankratops in my side decks. For a little while, I stopped playing it just because it wasn't, you know, as relevant. But now I think that, you know, you just need something like that to outboards and give you something to kind of bait a negation, which is pretty important. Then some spell cards. We have 3 Dark Ruler No More. If you want to play Droplets, play Droplets. I do have Droplets. I just did not want to toss them in here. I felt like playing Dark Ruler instead because I didn't want to get rid of all of my resources. So I just opted to go with the Dark Ruler. But whatever works for you guys, works for you guys. If you want to play Dark Rulers, play them. If you want to play Droplets, go for it. Kind of just preference at that point. Then we have some more backer removal. We have a Feather Duster and a Red Reboot. Obviously, you saw the Cyclones in the main deck. That's, you know, pretty obvious that I'm already playing some backer removal, but there are going to be times where we run into extremely trap-heavy decks that we're going to need a little more for, and Reboot and Feather Duster definitely get us there. So, got to play more backer removal. And the last card that I'm playing, or the last couple cards I'm playing here, because it's 2 cards, it's something that I am testing right now. I think that it works fairly well, and I believe going forwards it's probably going to work fairly well with the way the meta is probably going to shape up. But we are playing 2 Anti-Spell and 1 Imperial Order. If you are going first, this is honestly fantastic. I think that, you know, opening either one of these is great because no one's expecting you to play back row in Tri-Brigade, so they're going to side out all of their back row hate and removal, and then you're going to side these in, and then you're basically going to clean house with whatever spell deck is popping up. So this will hurt Drytron a lot. It actually will hurt Virtual World a little bit, depending on their hand, because Virtual World plays a lot of spell cards. I think most of their lists play almost 15 or close to 15 spell cards, because you got to figure 3 Desires, 3 Kowloon, 3 Qinglong, sometimes 3 Talents, sometimes Foolish Burial Goods, Emergency Teleport too. So keep in mind that these kinds of cards are fantastic against what's going to be, you know, a similar meta to what we saw last format, just without VFD, obviously. But overall, I think that these are a really good choice going forward. So keep in mind that things to stop spell cards are also going to be fantastic. But that basically brings the deck profile to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, obviously give it a thumbs up. You guys already know the drill. It's pretty simple stuff. It's always a blast making these profiles for everyone. I think we've been just climbing a ridiculous amount in subscribers lately. Consistently, I'm getting, you know, multiple subscriptions a day. So you guys are doing a fantastic job spreading the word, telling everyone about my channel. I'm sure overall it's just spreading from, you know, me posting videos as much as I do. But like I said in the beginning of the video, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn that notification bell on. It's always appreciated. Comment down below, tell me what you think. And for right now, this is Team Yugi Feels signing out.